Hello guys, in this video we're going to continue our online store application, and if you remember guys, in the previous video we finished our cart for our online store in ReactJS, and now I'm gonna take a backend part and try to add some implementation for the admin panel. Firstly, I close all. And when let's navigate to our entity, to our user entity, I suggest to add another column, just a user status. This user status is going to be active or not active user, because if you remember, when we finish our purchase we just create a user but without a password. So it's gonna be not active user but just a permanent user. And if user wanna create a personal account, user need just to make a password, and then we just make him like active user after he confirm his email or phone number. So let's just create a package and call it user. Let's just call it enums and create a class user status. And we're gonna have two statuses for the user, active, and let's call it disabled. Then let's just create a field column enumerated. Enumerated is an annotation for Java persistence for enum. Private user status and let's navigate to our DB migration and create a new script v2.1 add user status SQL alter table user add column and status varchar 20. And default is like disabled. And that's it. Let's restart our application. Let's try once again. And yeah, everything works fine. And we see in our user table a new column with a status. Now let's navigate to our user entity. I wanted to change role from string to the role status user role and mark it as enumerated. And all the place where I used it, I wanna change from the string to user role to be persistent, and so make my enums as enum, not string. Okay, looks better. And now let's create, so we need, now we need to add some security features to be able to log in user. And let me navigate to my previous tutorial according Spring JWT and copy paste some features for the Spring security. Okay, here is our Spring Security JWT project. The video tutorial you can find on my channel. Firstly, we need to get the dependency for the Spring Starter Security, and then JWT dependency. Yeah, we actually have already security, but it's commented. Let's uncomment it. Let's check if we have a JWT. No, it's absent. Let's find it in our project. Yeah, JSON WebToken. That's the library we need to generate our JWT JSON WebToken. Okay, let's add it in the bottom of dependencies. Okay, now I'm not gonna stop on security in this tutorial because you can navigate to my separate tutorial and check it out. Let's just copy paste some code config. There's a lot of code to copy paste. Firstly, let's create security config. Okay, I tried to open it in my IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, I opened my project in IntelliJ IDEA just to be able to copy paste whole classes and packages to speed up our tutorial a little bit. So, and you can see how can you just copy paste and have a nice example of Spring Security. And next we're going to copy paste is our controller, auth controller, auth request, auth response. Everything is going to be in our project. Okay, and let's try to resolve all the conflicts. And yeah, Spring Security, we have another user entity. Instead of login in our project, we have email. And let's check our user entity because I forgot how we store our role. Yeah, user role is just an enum. So let's put it and get role. And yeah, mistake is gone. Not get role name. And custom detail service, user service. And yeah, we need to create a find by login in our user service. Instead of login, we use email. Let's leave it empty. And we try to reconfigure this path, and instead of admin we have manager, and instead of user we have customer. Actually, let's just leave it. No, let's navigate to user role and add copy paste customer and manager. And that's it. Now we don't need a register endpoint. We need finish purchase endpoint. And we actually have one more endpoint to be open. It's our products, because our products endpoints should be open for all users. It doesn't matter if they are registered or not. And that's it. Now we need to create our user service import gwt provider import our users will register after they finish purchase. Our managers will register through the database itself. Now let me create auth, find by login and password. We need to create another method in user service. We leave this method empty as well. Let's close all and get back to auth controller. And auth request going to contain an email. And let's just add some validation. not empty, and not empty password. And let's add valid annotation here. The same way as we did for our purchase controller, if you don't know what is valid, valid is just an annotation which enables our request validation, and this annotations not null means that then field must be not null, and not empty means that field must be not empty. There are different annotations from Java's constraint, and you can check them. Java's validation constraints dependency has all the validations you need for your model, like min, max, future for the datetime format, not empty, not blank, not null, etc. Who is interested, just navigate to the Java's validation and check it out. So we continue. We close our finish purchase, so we added email instead of login, and email instead of login. That's it with our auth controller. And yeah, let's implement methods we left empty in our user service. Find by email, and it's easy. We just need to call user entity repository find by email, and that's it. And we can find by email and password. Let's just copy paste implementation from our Sprint Security JWT. And as you can see, firstly we find by login and then check the password itself. Let me copy paste. Instead of find by login, we're gonna find by email. And password encoder we're going to authorize. And let me check the bin in Sprint Security. As far as I remember, yeah, we implemented a bin for password encoder. And that's it. Now we find by email and check user entity password. If it matches, then we return user entity. Otherwise, we return null. In our purchase service implementation, we find or create user. Find or create user just creates user with an empty password. So we need to create user with a password, and let's just create another method in user service, and let's call it set password. And in the user service, let's just update. Yeah, we need to pass we need to find user by ID. Sorry, by ID. And find by ID returns us an optional, so we can throw an exception in case we haven't found our user. otherwise we can throw even custom exception, or let's throw illegal argument exception. And that's our user find by ID. And if we found user, we just set password encoder, because we can store and unencoded passwords in DB. And that's it. And now we can just, after user makes an order, we can just show him, like, create a personal details cabinet. Let me just Google checkbox because I've forgotten. Yeah, I can just create something like that. Create my personal account cabinet. And let's just change vehicle from create account ID. And instead of I have a bike, create a personal account. And if user clicks create a personal account, he need to enter and password. And that's it. Okay, let's just show or hide this input if user clicks on checkbox or not. Firstly, let's create handle password. Firstly, let's create a password in the state. and then don't forget to pass password. And yeah, now let's try to hide or show this input if user clicks on checkbox. It's a ternary operator, like in Java. If state create account is true, then we just render this input, otherwise just an empty string. Let's create a state. First, the create account is false, and then console log name create count and value. It's like, let's disable a value for now, and change this handle checkbox on. It looks like always on. I want to hide this field on off. Yeah, it looks like we need to check not the value but checked. Target for checkbox has checked, and let's try once again. Yeah, now works fine. Okay, let me remove this console log, and now if user enters password, we can just create him a personal account. In the best scenario, we need to send an email to the user to confirm an email, or send an SMS to confirm the phone. But now we just create a personal account and make it active. So we navigate to the online store and say, if user, let me check to finish purchase, find or create user, we can just set if request get password. Yeah, we don't have a request password. and let's exclude it from the toString because it's not secure to log password. Let me check it in the old-fashioned way. And let's say if a password length more than 1, we just create the password for the user. User service set password user user entity we can make this method in the variable. Okay, now it looks good, and after we need to set our user as active. Set password, set status, and don't forget to save a user. Okay, let's try to register our user after he creates a purchase in our online store. We can create this field like a password. Firstly, let's create it as password. And let's check what's wrong with our server. Okay, it looks like we haven't passed our security filter. Let's check it out. $400 bad request, yeah. Address is empty but shouldn't be, yeah. This time we have server error. Null value in column status violates non-null constraint. It's interesting. Yeah, we forgot to add a status in while we create user first time. Finish purchase service. Yeah, it looks like a mistake. Order entity. Not order user service find or create user. We need to set role customer and user entity set status disabled. And let's try once again. Okay, looks good. Let's navigate to the server and check if our user is successfully added to the database. Here's our name, here's our encrypted password, and our customer, our role is 0 and our status is 0. Yeah, it's my mistake. Let me just navigate to user entity once again. Enumerated has some attributes in num type string. Yeah, I forgot about it. Sorry guys. Totally forgot to add a num type string. Let's try. Let's actually delete with user. Okay, I can delete it because it has some dependency in the database. So let me create a role customer and the status disabled for now, because you know it can violate our enum. Let's try to reload server once again. Okay, let's add some products. Yeah, our menu doesn't work. Name, so name, email, phone number, like something like that. Create personal account, mean 1, 2, 3. Finish purchase. What's wrong for this time? Address comment. Yeah, I forgot to add address. Finish purchase. Yeah. Now it looks better. Navigate to our database. And now our user has status active and customer enroll as a customer. Now let's try to generate a token for this customer. Let's open Postman and enter HTTP localhost 8080 auth. Body, email dot gmail.com and password like admin123. And let's try to send. Method not allowed. Yeah, I totally forgot to add method. Here is our token, which user can use to enter to enable some features for personal account, which we're going to implement in the next tutorial. In this tutorial, we implemented a security for our online store. We implemented user registration. And in the next tutorial, we're going to implement an admin panel and user personal account. And that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and goodbye, guys.